When was the last time you watched a president write great news about a television suspension, and then, 6 days later, watch the show return to its biggest audience in years? Tonight. Kimmel's hand is already reaching into the drawer before the opening monologue is finished, not the desk drawer. A folder beneath the desk, placed there by a production assistant 2 hours before the taping began, at Kimmel's specific instruction. The audience doesn't know what's in it. The floor director standing at stage left doesn't know. Even the show's head writer watching from the booth hasn't been told. What Kimmel pulls from that folder is a single printed document. 12 pages, not one. And he sets it on the desk with the deliberate care of a man who has been waiting to place this specific object on this specific surface for exactly 6 days. Then he looks up. He thought this was over, Kimmel says. He was wrong, and I have the paperwork. Rewind, 6 days earlier. Here is where the Bombshell was built. September 17th, 2025. London, Windsor Castle. Past midnight, local time. Trump is mid-state visit. Formal dinners, bilateral meetings, photographs with royalty. His phone is in his hand. His thumbs are moving. Great news for America. The ratings challenge Jimmy Kimmel Show is canceled. 5 sentences. Posted before ABC's suspension has been formally announced. Posted before the network has confirmed anything publicly. Posted because someone told him it was done before it was done. Because the mechanism that produced the outcome kept him informed of its construction in real time. FCC Chairman Brendan Carr, the night before, had gone on a podcast and said 4 words about ABC. Easy way or hard way? 36 minutes after those words, Nexstar pulled the show. ABC followed. Trump was asleep in Windsor Castle. He woke up to a done deal and posted great news about it from a palace. Kimmel's show was not canceled, it was suspended. The distinction matters because suspensions end, and endings have a way of becoming broadcasts. September 23rd. Studio 6A. The taping begins. The audience has been in their seats for 22 minutes before the curtain moves. The pre-show warm-up reaches a volume that a veteran floor director later says he has never heard from a cold audience. People who have not yet seen a single frame of the episode, but are already inside. A feeling they cannot name yet, because it hasn't been given its name yet. The name will come in 7 words, 14 minutes into the broadcast. Kimmel walks through the noise to the desk. He sits. He places both hands flat on the surface. He looks at camera 2, not the teleprompter, not the wide shot, the lens positioned directly in front of him. And he begins, not with the bombshell, with Trump's post. He reads it aloud, the full post, every sentence, the word canceled in capitals. The claim that the White House was told by ABC that the show was canceled. The line about Kimmel's talent being worse than Colbert, if that's possible. The instruction to NBC to do it next. He reads it in the flat, precise voice of a man reading a document into a legal record. No inflection, no editorializing, no pause for laughs. Then he says, he told the world the show was canceled. He said the White House was told. He was wrong on both counts, and I want to show you exactly how wrong and why it matters that he was wrong, because the wrongness is the story. He opens the folder. The 12 pages are dated across a 14-month span. They are not all the same type of document. Page 1 is a printed FCC filing, a Spectrum license renewal application submitted by Nexstar in July 2025, currently pending before the commission chaired by Brendan Carr. Page 2 is a Sinclair broadcast license renewal. Page 3 is a Disney Regulatory Affairs correspondence log from the merger review process. Pages 4 through 8 are public records, FCC docket entries, dates of filing, names of commissioners assigned to review. Pages 9 through 12 are email chains obtained through a First Amendment legal request between ABC Regulatory Affairs and the FCC's Enforcement Bureau, dated between August and September 2025. He doesn't explain each page. He doesn't need to. He fans them across the desk the way a card player lays a hand. Slowly, deliberately, each page placed where the previous one ends, and lets the geometry of it speak. Every company that pulled the show had something pending before the agency whose chairman said, easy way or hard way. Every decision made in those 36 minutes was made by a corporation that needed Brendan Carr's goodwill to function. The geometry doesn't need annotation. The shape of it is the argument. This is not a coincidence, Kimmel says. It is a conflict of interest so large it has its own filing cabinet. The audience processes it the way audiences process something that reframes what they already thought they understood. Not shock, recognition. The dense, specific recognition of a fact that was always visible from a different angle, now visible from this one. A camera operator who has worked the show for 6 years keeps her lens on Kimmel's face without cutting because the director in the booth has gone quiet and nobody is calling the wide shot. Then a door near the stage right curtain opens. A media law attorney steps out. She has spent 22 years specializing in FCC enforcement. She reviewed Carr's easy way or hard way statement the night it was made and published a legal analysis within 48 hours, concluding that it met the Supreme Court's 2024 standard for unconstitutional jawboning, the use of governmental authority to coerce private actors into suppressing speech the government disfavors. She is here because Vance, on a Sunday morning news program, called Carr's statement a joke. She read the transcript of that program. It was not a joke, she says. I want to be specific about this. A joke is not followed by an action. A joke does not produce emergency meetings at 3 broadcast corporations within 36 minutes. A joke does not result in a man being removed from television. Brendan Carr said 4 words on a podcast and a nationally syndicated program was taken off the air before midnight. She pauses. That is jawboning. That is unconstitutional. And the Vice President of the United States describing it as a joke does not change its legal character. The room is completely still. A man in the 4th row has stopped breathing in the visible way. Chest held, shoulders locked, waiting. A woman near the aisle holds her phone face down in both hands, not because she is ignoring it, but because she needs both hands to hold something. A second figure steps out. He is a former Disney Regulatory Affairs officer who left the company 5 months ago. He was in the room. The specific Tuesday evening meeting, when the decision to suspend Kimmel was finalized at Disney. He has reviewed his NDA with his own attorney. He is here. He does not take a long time to get to the sentence that matters. Carr's statement came at 9:47 p.m., he says. Our internal decision memo was time-stamped 10:23 p.m., 36 minutes. I want to be precise about what was said in that meeting in 36 minutes. He looks at the camera. Someone said, "What are our pending applications?" Someone listed them. Someone said, "That's the easy way." And someone else said, "Log the decision." 3 sentences reconstructed from memory, precise, clean, time-stamped, the geometry of a decision that Trump posted about from Windsor Castle while it was still being made. The room breaks. A woman in the center stands first, not dramatically, not with the sudden movement of someone startled into standing, but with the slow deliberateness of someone who has decided to be on their feet for this specific sentence. Others follow, not in a wave, but in individual decisions spreading outward from the center, each person making the choice independently and arriving at the same place. The applause that builds is the kind that does not peak and crash. It holds. It sustains at the level of a room full of people who are not willing to sit down yet, because sitting down would be the wrong response to what they just heard. Kimmel waits for it, both hands flat on the desk, eyes on the surface. He does not stand. He waits. He wrote, "Great news from a palace," Kimmel says when the room is settled. He was wrong about the cancellation. He was wrong about the audience. He was wrong about what happens when you try to silence someone by threatening the corporation that employs them. His voice drops 1 register. Not for drama, for precision. The geometry of this, the pending applications, the 36 minutes, the post before the confirmation, the easy way or hard way, that geometry is now on this desk, on this camera, and on every platform that Brendan Carr does not regulate. He touches the 12 pages. He gave me 6 days to build this. I want to thank him for the time. The audience gives him the laugh he has earned. Clean, sharp, real. The specific laugh of a room that has been sitting inside something serious for 30 minutes and has just been given the precise sentence that releases it. Then the laugh fades, and what replaces it is applause that carries the weight of both, the seriousness and the release, the 30 minutes and the sentence combined. Trump posts at 6:58 a.m., 7 paragraphs. By the second sentence, the capital letters have arrived. Witch hunt, illegal campaign contribution, total and complete loser. A legal threat against ABC runs 2 paragraphs and references the $16 million settlement, suggesting the next lawsuit will be even more lucrative. A personal description of Kimmel covers talent, ratings, humor, the DNC, Disney stock, and what Trump describes as the most dangerous, most dishonest, and most unfunny man in the history of late-night television. Each paragraph is screenshotted and placed beside the clip it responds to. On one side, 12 pages fanned across a desk, 36 minutes reconstructed in 3 sentences, and a man saying, "Thank you for the time," in the precise tone of someone who means it. On the other side, 7 paragraphs, no documents, no dates, no witnesses, and a legal threat from a man who was wrong about the cancellation and is now wrong about the coverage. The Bombshell had been building for 6 days. It was built in a palace at midnight, in a 36-minute meeting, in a folder placed under a desk 2 hours before a taping. And it landed the way things land when they have been held for exactly as long as they needed to be held. Not with a bang, but with 12 pages fanned across a desk and a man saying, "I have the paperwork." If this changed how you see the gap between what power says and what power does, subscribe and watch it again. The details you missed the first time are the ones that matter most. Notifications on. Next one drops soon.